m'appelle Steve Hackett. Vous regardez Morow.com. Well, I've worked with Simon and Chris on several projects over the years, and this was an attempt to work in a more integrated kind of way. So we have the band, plus orchestra, plus guests, some of the guests are maybe not as well known as others, but the string players on the album are very important too. Dick Driver, Richard Stewart, and Christine Townsend. Richard Stewart, unfortunately, some weeks ago died very young, but he was a brilliant young player, and it all adds to the emotional mix of this album, where there's a lot of emotion present on all of the songs. So it becomes more than just an album, it's part of my life over a 3 or 4 year period. Well, John and I have known each other for a very long time, since I first saw him playing with King Crimson in London in the early 1970s, when he was first with the band, and I thought he was just tremendous. I thought he was terrific. And after I saw him live, there was a place in London that musicians used to go to after shows very often. And so in the small hours of the morning, I was at this particular club in London, and he came through the door and I said, "Oh, you know, I've just seen you on stage and thought it was terrific." He said, "Oh, thanks," you know, and so we became friends right there, and so we've worked on each other's things from time to time. I think he's a terrific singer and a very nice guy, we often do things for each other. We're friends for a long time. Always lovely to see him, John. He's a very warm character. Unlike most singers, I have to say, he seems to be completely devoid of ego. He just likes to do the job, and he likes to be asked to do it, and same thing with me. If he asks me to play on something, I'm thrilled to work on it, you know. Sometimes he'll phone me up and he'll say, "Oh, I've written a song with Ringo Starr, would you like to play harmonica on it?" And I did. I came down, I did the harmonica in one take, and that was it. And you know, it's lovely to be able to work in that natural kind of way. A bit like being brothers in a sense, I think, you know, that sort of brotherhood of that you can have in the music business. So I'm very very proud to have John as a friend, and to be able to do the work we do together. I played on his latest album, which is a very nice album as well. He's very talented, very driven, very intelligent, very focused, also very nice, and he's a real music enthusiast. I think he's most driven by that. I don't know, I played on his album, that was a great pleasure for me. And the following day I got to work with Gary Husband, who's another phenomenal talent. A guy who plays drums with Level 42 and keyboards with John McLaughlin. So I was on an album with John McLaughlin, and I was thrilled to do that, you know. Love to work with these people. Sounds like I'm name dropping, but while you mention these people, you know, it's I tend these days to work with friends who also happen to be very talented friends, and there are no other agendas, you know, other than we make the music as good as we can, and if someone wants me to change something, I do. I like working on separate projects with other people, and that's always a pleasure. To work with them is very easy. If somebody is doing a solo project, then what I do is I always say to them, well, you know, you're the boss. It's got to be the way you want it to be. You have to be happy, whether you want me to play in character or do something out of character, to play like someone else. It's the ability to be able to write a different kind of song and play in a different kind of way, and not always have to be yourself. A bit like an actor can go and put on some makeup and become someone else and not be recognised. It's a nice way of working. Groups, it's a different situation. A group, obviously, there are more. There's always a group ethos and a plan, a combined plan. I think with solo albums, things are probably more ad hoc and natural and considered, but in a different kind of way. All of them are my favourites, because I think it's marvellous that the music that Genesis once did, the lovely thing is that it's become part of so many people's lives, because all these bands are a tribute to them, and most of all it's a tribute to the music, and what that shows you is that the music has a life of its own beyond the participants. Yes, so all these songs that I thought at one time are going to just be around for a short time and then they will go, seem to be part of some kind of musical continuum, some kind of somewhere between heritage and museum and musical. It all seems to go on somehow. So almost like classical music, or like, as I say, like a musical from Rodgers and Hammerstein or My Fair Lady or something like that. It seems to continue, which is great.